Hello, I'm Charlene of the Rainbow Frequency, and today I'm going live to tap in or delve into the energies at play. On Monday, depending on where you live, we're going to have a full moon in Aquarius. The 14th and 15th of August, we have had a lot of tension with the different planets that are forming their configurations with each other that can be moments where there's a lot of feeling of pressure, again, tension, stress, a lot of stuff bubbling up through our layers, resurfacing so that we can choose how we go about interacting with this pattern or dynamic. They can be breakthrough moments. So while there is a lot of tension, pressure, perhaps stress, at the same time, in childbirth, a lot of times you have that feeling that it's never going to have that breakthrough, that it's never going to shift and release. But at the same time, nothing lasts forever. It really doesn't. So just keep on keeping on. Understand that a lot of what is going on, perhaps as an empath around you, that you're feeling is just the nature of the time that we're in. So try perhaps to not take it so personally. Reflect, rework, revise, use that Mercury retrograde to rethink, release outdated programming, perhaps narratives that aren't serving you anymore. We have been continuously evolving and changing, especially in the last 5 or so years. The uptick has been huge. The momentum is gaining. So it's just be aware that this is an opportunity for a lot of self-healing and development from the inside out. I have my sun sign in Capricorn and my rising sign in Aquarius. So I personally love to work hard. It's seemingly insurmountable odds doing it in a way that defies other people's perceptions or logic. That's a lot for other people to necessarily buy into the vision, believe or see the vision. I've had to really get to the point where I don't really care if anyone sees the vision that I am holding because it's mine. I've had to really work hard to acknowledge myself, who I am, what I am, how I am designed. And instead of vilifying it, I've had to embrace, appreciate, learn to understand what it is that makes me me. And instead of trying to reconfigure myself to meet other people's expectations or try to emulate how they're doing it so that I can fit in, I've had to realize that I was designed perfectly the way that I'm designed, and by learning how to best work with it, honor it, and tune in to myself, that's how I could best be a part of the environment that I wish to engage with. I luckily had people around me, my father, my stepfather who adopted me, that really pushed me into thinking in these ways instead of just being labeled with ADHD and deciding that it was a handicap and that I could just lean on that as being my excuse as to why I couldn't do X, Y, or Z. He really did a lot of research, read different books, articles out there, and showed me that my brain just worked in a different way, and made me realize that, okay, my brain works in a certain way. I also in life started to recognize that I wasn't really meant to sit in a cubicle. I wasn't really meant to sit at all. I'm a mover and a shaker. So that's where I learned to apply myself to things that I was good at instead of fitting myself into a box that I wasn't really meant to fit in. That's where, let's see, I guess I was in my early 20s, perhaps. I decided I just had the owl and the branch, nothing else. It was just this commitment to myself. I left working at the Richmond Times-Dispatch. It was my last ditch effort at pleasing my parents at the time. I had just dropped out of college. They were horrified. I got this amazing job as a young person, making $25,000 a year. They were pleased. They had the breath of relief or sigh of relief that I wasn't completely ruining my life. And then being in that environment, I just felt how much it wasn't for me, and it just made me feel gross. It did. It just felt gross. I knew I didn't fit in. I was wearing this mask. I didn't like it. So I quit. I started waiting tables. I was very good at it. And I love waiting tables. I love engaging with people. I love being of service. I really enjoy feeding people. I mean, I love to cook. So feeding people literally for me is a way I show love. But to wait tables and do it in that way is another form of getting to care for people and make them feel like someone out there gives a hoot about their happiness. I try. And it's funny because I recently started waiting tables again to have a part-time job to supplement me building this dream of mine to have a spiritual practice where I help empower people to embracing their divine nature and acknowledging all the amazing elements and energy that surround us all, that are universally there and supportive. Living the dream. But, there are a lot of bills one has to pay. So waiting tables is something I've recently just started doing again. And I knew going into it, it was going to be another way that I got to impart my energetic, uplifting services for the world at large in that heartfelt service way. But the funny thing is that I wound up having people hug me. I've, as a hairstylist previously, had many people hug me in my career. I had to actually get comfortable with people I've just met hugging me in that capacity. And at first I was very stiff because I was not used to random strangers wanting to hug me. I mean, they weren't random strangers after sitting in my chair, but still I had to get comfortable with it. And then now I've had it happen twice where I've waited on somebody that I hadn't known and they enjoyed it so much that afterwards they hugged me at the end, and I loved it. I mean, it shocked me, but at the same time, it was a great shock. And I was just like, well, hell, why not? Yes, mission accomplished. Woo! Just saying, spreading the love. And I have also, having walked down this path to become a Reiki teaching master, had my mind blown. My previous expectations of energy, my perceptions of energy, how it could work, how it did work, how you don't even have to try and it's working. It's amazing. I mean, the fact of the matter to me is we have an amazing world around us. Every single second, there is a miraculous thing happening around you or somewhere in the world. Just the movement of the cosmos alone, when you start to look at the correlation between as above, so below, is absolutely mind-blowing. When you look at your astrological birth chart and you really dig into those houses and your placements, I've had myself and everyone that I've ever done a reading for say that it's creepily accurate or eerily accurate. So I myself had an existential crisis, like, well, am I me, or am I just a composition of the stars and what that says and my ancestors, and it's just this special blend of preconceived beauty? But then it's just like, well, sure, you could have been designed and brought together with all these ingredients, but it's still yours. One of the things that really has stuck out to me is when dealing with integrating past lives and past life experiences, it's not a matter of who you've been, it's who you are now that is most important. So I referenced this, I believe, in the last live that I did, but there are a lot of various things, like I just said in the beginning of this one, various what's the word they want me to use? Various aspects, various bits of us are floating to the surface, whether it's past life information for us to heal through, acknowledge the pattern, perhaps let it go or grow through, karmic vows, debts, contracts, all sorts of different karma and karmic issues at play coming up, being either resolved. It just depends. This is a collective reading, so every individual is on their own path and has their own stuff at play. So again, take what resonates, apply it as it is for your journey, but at the same time, like, we're in that period where it kind of feels like you're in a centrifuge and you have the opportunity to release some of what was weighing you down in a healthy manner. Again, it might feel a bit chaotic, but at the same time, catharsis isn't known to be a gentle ride. So full moons are all about being in that energy of releasing, being in the energy of, as you're releasing, allowing things to be revealed or illuminated as the light is shown down onto the situation, perhaps. It's about blessings coming in, new moons, about setting your intentions, sowing the seeds of what you want to manifest. Then throughout the month, you work to cultivate that. Then you get to the full moon, and then you can have your harvest, so to speak. Or, you might have to release some things so that you can get to the desired harvest that you're working to cultivate. With Aquarius, it is a very outside the box thinking energy. It can be a bit rebellious, but in a humanitarian sense. It's the situation of being able to look at the big picture and see from a broad perspective what would be the best choice, the best way of going about things to have the resulted outcome be what is best for all involved in a humanitarian, more logical sense in a way, but not in an everyday logical sort of way. I love Aquarian energy, but it's unusual. So currently, let's tune into the chakras. What information do we have about the current energies? Aha, I love it. Balance. It's about letting go of things that aren't serving the highest good to create better balance. Purple in this deck is your third eye. So it's that using your intuition, using your psychic senses to tune in to what's going on around us so you can best navigate the material plane and move yourself forward in a more even, keeled, healthy way for yourself. We're moving from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. So the previous flavor was very much set in a tone of survival. We very much around the world have cultivated unhealthy work-life balance, feeling like we had to put everything in to that work sector so that it would pay off, so that we could have balance in our lives. We are learning or starting to realize that is not healthy, that it is, in a lot of cases, creating dis-ease, disharmony, unbalances within us. Instead of being so focused in one area of your life, creating that mind, body, spirit, self-care practice and spiritual discipline for yourself, eating in a more holistic, eating with intention to serve your body as a temple. These are all things that we, as a collective, are starting to acknowledge the importance of, and the fact that having balance, having rest, having productivity, having creativity, having all these parts of ourselves honored, tended to, is what will really create a better balance. Neo, you need a neuroleptic 19 centimeter. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that suggestion. Passion. Yes. We're learning that we need to really balance passion, drive, ambition. It isn't all work. That saying, all work and no play makes Jill a dull girl. Again, we've been hyper-focused in certain areas. You see, recently, I just saw that sorry, I got distracted by Neo. Recentering, sorry. We're starting to recognize that we can't be hyper-focused in one area. We're starting to realize that we need to create a better balance for ourselves between work, family, personal time, learning that self-care isn't selfish, that it's a vital part of keeping yourself healthy. We are starting to recognize the importance, or not recognize, we're not starting to recognize, we are remembering how important creativity, joy, breath, rest, all these things are to our well-being, and as an individual, but also as a collective. I'm going to do a little sidebar. I've been doing some research, and empathy is a subject I find very fascinating. And they've started studying empathy probably, I would imagine, in the 60s or so. But the study I was reading was from 1979, I believe, to 2008. So I'd really be interested to see the data from 2020. But they were seeing that up until the late 90s, our empathy as a collective was pretty, at least in the United States, because I don't think this was a worldwide study, but in the United States, our empathy levels were pretty static. Then they took a dip. They dropped. We were less empathetic up until 2008. Then in 2008, it spiked dramatically to where we were more empathetic. And they realized that in part, one factor was the more lonely we were, the more motivated we were to be empathetic with one another. Fascinating. But we saw that so much so when we had the lockdown, where we were forced to go within, and then missed the interaction so much between us, which I do acknowledge that a part of being hugged now, waiting tables, is because people are so cognizant of that genuine loving interaction and they're appreciative. That's beautiful. Of course, it's not everywhere all the time, but it's still out there. Love it. Okay, Neo, thank you for that suggestion. All right, so then from the moon, what is it that wants to be channeled through? Have faith in your dreams. Waxing crescent moon. That's beautiful. Again, something. All right, so my own personal journey. In 2020, I had opened a salon with a friend. We had been in a large collective We went to just the two of us. And in that space, which was called Haven, I had a room that I was going to start doing readings and energy services out of. I was a bit terrified that my clientele would freak out and think I was some horrible witch and drop me like a bad potato. But that was not the case. It was a beautiful transition. People loved the space. Then again, we had to go into lockdown. I had to shift my direction. I had to start homeschooling my son. I couldn't manage my home, raising my son and his educational needs, and be at work in that way. So we closed in the screen porch off the back of our house and created a space that I could work from home in. And I had said previously, like, if I could work from home in the garden, that would be amazing. But I didn't think that it would ever work, so I didn't see it as such, as being a possibility. Then the universe redirected me, and I get to work with people from my healing garden, seeing the different elements of nature, whether it's a bird, a butterfly, a chipmunk, and it's a part of our beautiful experience together. It's a beautiful exchange. And the web of life, I love it. I've had to really work to change directions in my career, have faith that which was in my heart and soul, that was ignited, was worth having faith in, worth putting that time and energy and really going through the cycles and collecting the harvest, releasing perhaps what wasn't working, and to keep going as a farmer replants the fields, perhaps rotating them as needed for that outcome, for that reward, for that yield from holding their dreams and continuing. And sure, I've had different hardships, different bumps along the way, different amazing successes, different parts where that was awesome. I would change it perhaps this time around, as you would tending to a farm, tending to a field, tending to a garden bed. And it might not go in the timing that you would like it to, but at the same time, I've had to really stop and acknowledge along the way all the amazing progress and on all the ways that I wouldn't have seen it if I hadn't been open to being guided. When I saw a direction open, I flowed with it instead of being resistant to it. So that is, again, we're in that opportunity. Have faith in your dreams. What is sparked in your heart and soul, follow it. Follow that thread. We got from the cosmos, from the star seeds, whale and orca elders, share your song, frequency and of sound, diving deep. That was one of the ways, I started studying Reiki. I, in my earlier life, had gone to see a psychic, and she told me I was going to be a shaman, but that felt too big, so I pushed it away. Then, as I'm studying Reiki, a dance was granted to me or gifted to me, a song was gifted to me. And at first I was just baffled. I didn't understand what this had to do with energy healing. And then I started to learn more and more and realized, I very much do feel when we walk in nature, when we go for a walk, we are drumming our feet against the earth, and that has healing symbiotic effect for us and the world that we're a part of. We are drumming in to the ley lines, the energy grid, and it helps heal the earth and ourselves. That's beautiful. The song lines, the star lines, the celestial lines, the celestial grid. When we sing, when whales sing, when birds sing, when anything is in that tone, that frequency, that vibration, it imparts healing energy. Music, the notes on a scale correlate with the chakra system. So when I had asked Spirit, why the hell are you having me sing and dance? Like, this feels so embarrassing. They showed me this aquatic dinosaur floating in a pool of water, and it was singing, and it was just showing me, like, since the dawn of time, this is just one of the ways that we within creation can have such magical engagement outcome. It's beautiful. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And while it's mind-blowing and we don't understand it, we can appreciate it and grow that faith if we dare. Let's have one more from the Starseed. This is the Starseed Oracle, and we were working with, hold on, I'll show you the decks. I don't have the Chakra Wisdom Oracle card box anymore, but this is that deck. And we use the Moonology Oracle cards. The Starseed Oracle. Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. It matters and it doesn't matter. I'll say that. We are eternal souls having an experience here on earth that is physical. And then when we leave this body, we don't cease to exist. We perhaps could view it as being recycled. This is my belief system. It doesn't have to be yours, but this is my belief system. We get recycled. We, again, are a beautiful composite of many different things. The star seeds, they're different. If you don't know about star seeds, it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down. At first, I was just like, what in the world? And then the more I read and sifted through the different information out there, to me, it just makes sense where life started here on Earth. First, Earth was more of a molten, sort of fiery plane. Then between the comets coming through and star material coming, it changed the environment. It sparked life. So then one could say that everything here on Earth is alien. Just saying. So everything here was brought from the cosmos in and sparked all that we know around us. pretty amazing. We're all connected. We all come from that soup, if you will, that primordial oneness. One of my favorite ways is that it's articulated is in Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, where it's just this river where all the souls are flowing together, and it's a unified song, if you will, chorus of voices. Not everyone's saying the same thing necessarily at the same time, but anyway, very interesting. And again, it's a matter of perspective. So we're also in this full moon in Aquarius, kind of having this being zoomed out of our own heads to perhaps seeing a bigger picture, so that then we might be able to see an alternative pathway, route, choice that will help us get to where we want to go within our dreams to make it a reality. I also, in this image, as a healer, I am working very much on, hello Barbara, good morning to you as well. I'm very much working on healing myself, working on healing through the patterns and different things that are bubbling up for me in my life and my relationships. But then I'm also very much in my meditative space, putting it back out into the world, putting it back out into the various elements, the earth, the water, the fire, the air, putting it out. I will view it as sending love to all my connections, and then have it ripple outward to all their connections and all their connections. So again, sending that love, that healing energy into as many places as I can, with the intention of creating love, peace, and harmony for all involved. It's a lofty ambition for sure. But at the same time, I see myself in a ring. Oh, it's hard to do this. In a ring around, oh, I can't do it. Anyway, imagine I'm drawing a circle around the earth, and I'll see myself holding hands soul to soul with my spiritual team, my collective, and all of you beautiful souls that want to hold hands, unite with love, peace, and harmony to create a better existence for every single thing. The stars, the moon, the sun, everything. Not just us, not just humans, animals, every single thing. Give love to it all, highest good, harmony, peace. Feel it. That is the energy, the consciousness that I feel in my heart that we are fostering, growing. It's been there. It's just taking new form, expanding, evolving, and growing. One other study I've read is talking about the fact that we're moving to being more telepathic. Again, how long these things take, I can't give you that. But at the same time, I have noticed in my own life that telepathic communication ramping up. For me, I've experienced it with my husband, but mostly my female friends. A lot of times, like as a hairdresser, I would kind of talk soul to soul with a person before their hair appointment. I would tune into the fact that there was going to be a big change, perhaps, or that there was a change that was needed, and have that conversation with them, if you will, in my mind. Well, I've noticed that's happening more and more, but just in my relationships, but like with people that I'm really excited about meeting up with, I'll just have it kind of pass through my mind, this conversation or interaction that we're going to have. And then I find when we meet, we're like, oh yeah, I had already thought about that with you. And it's amazing. Now I read recently this article where scientists had a panel of people that they connected to a bunch of electrodes. They registered their brain waves, how their eyes responded to stimuli, and they found that they were communicating telepathically. And then through this information, they're starting to be able to synthetically develop a way for people to interact in this manner. Now, to me, what I really love about all of this scientific development is that if they can witness that we're doing it and recreate it, that's amazing. But however, the most amazing part is that we're doing it. We're doing it. Same thing with this terahertz mat that is popular nowadays. Like, sure, wonderful technological thing that we've created so that you can earth or ground yourself wherever you are. Beautiful, lovely. Not everyone can get outside. However, the fact of the matter is we have the ability to do so for ourselves. Go outside, put your feet on the ground barefoot if you can, but you don't even have to because that energy will travel through your shoes. So go for a walk, be outside, just sit outside in nature, spend time and connect with the earth. In my experience with dealing with people on an energetic level, and I'll read their chakra system, a lot of times we get stressed and we will, so to speak, curl up into a little fetal ball and disconnect from the earth because we don't feel safe. When it's that connection to the earth, the surface of the earth and her beautiful heart center, or its beautiful heart center, we won't limit the earth to one gender. That's where you're really going to find that support and what will help you get through it in a better way. Another way to think about it, like when one gets really, really stressed out emotionally, one tendency could be to stop eating, and eating is another way that we can ground ourselves. Now, sometimes people get stressed and they become overactive, and then they wind up overeating, trying to find that comfort. And it might just be from food when it's a combination of things. There are certain foods that are very grounding and healthy, like root vegetables. Sure, there are different ways that you can eat with intention to create a healthy, grounding dynamic for yourself. But at the same time, if you're stressed and all you're doing is eating potatoes, that's not going to really help you all the way. Okay. What archetype within ourselves is going to help us currently with what we're facing? We got the Castle card. And we've got in this image, I love that, that we see this eye being closed. We see a rose. We see the pearls in a square formation. Squares speak to foundation, stability, the earthly plane. We have the green around it, the heart chakra. We've got tinges of yellow for the solar plexus, our soul, self. So our heart and soul. The black can be symbolic of the ancestors, the void, the creation space. The pearls are really significant to me. Pearl of wisdom. This figure, when I was in my, I don't even remember exactly. I think I was no, I don't remember. It was in my late 20s. I wasn't fully aware at the time of who I was depicting on my arm. However, I knew it was a representation of my higher consciousness. Then, in my spiritual journey, I learned about the blue lotus. It was pretty mind-blowing. It really was, to realize that I was communicating subconsciously through all this artwork on my body that I felt called to. So the pearl of wisdom. So, yikes. Woo, trippy. Whoa. All right, there we go. In your life, on your journey, you have many experiences. They might cause agitation, conflict, perhaps some stress, joy. All of those experiences, you're gaining wisdom if you're open to it. So it's taking all that wisdom, letting go of all that pain, that stress, that turmoil, the conflict that got you there. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the blessings. Release what doesn't serve you any longer. Then the rose, that pink rose, to me is symbolizing that unconditional love, that divine feminine, receptive, nurturing, healing energy within us. Whether you're a male, female, a they, we all have that archetypal energy of the divine masculine, that protective, ambitious action energy coupled with intuition, nurturing, receptivity, so that it creates balance. The castle, again, is linking to me to that dreams. You don't want to be within your castle and having it overly defensive. You want it to be open and receptive so that dreams can be fostered there. But at the same time, what's coming through in this castle is a lot of times we face in tarot what we call tower moments. And my favorite way to depict a tower moment is that you see this tower and it's crumbling, and a lot of times the message that comes through from your spiritual team is like, why on earth would you want to even settle for a tower when you deserve a whole castle? Stop limiting yourself and what you can have, achieve, experience by diminishing yourself in such a way. All right. Then we'll go to the White Light Oracle. Ooh, throwing them on the ground. Too many. Oh, Theta of Venus. Venus is that 5-pointed star. So that pentacle, that energy of bringing all the elements together with love. Let's see what the book has to say. 25 adds up to 7, so it's that divine energy that is so healing. And again, very much that energy of that womb space, creation, development. Attune yourself to higher consciousness by choosing to access the purest frequencies of love within. Acknowledge lower frequencies such as judgment, fear, doubt, or shame when they arise within or around you, but do not give them a foothold in your heart. You are ready for higher understanding, to see things in a new and more positive light. Allow your inner knowing to guide you on a unique, beautiful, and highly spiritual life path. Coming back to that Aquarian energy so beautifully and re-articulating what I was saying earlier about things are bubbling up to the surface. Acknowledge it, observe it, heal it, release it, do what you need to be at peace within yourself. Thank you so much for being here with me. I am a spiritual healer, energy balancing practitioner, holistic medium. I work with individuals. I do pop-up events. I do group readings, all sorts of things. Recently, I had the joy of being booked for a baby shower. I'm so excited. I love having the honor of getting to be a part of birthday parties and all these beautiful experiences. So I hope you enjoyed this transmission and you found it helpful for your journey. Best wishes and love. Be well holistically for yourself and the environment you're a beautiful part of.